I, 33 female, have 2 children, tween male and female, with my ex, Liam, 35 male. 2 years ago, he turned our world upside down by revealing his affair in the messiest way possible. More on that in a second. And declaring he wanted to get married to his affair partner, Jean, 37 female. This led to me filing for divorce. My children learned of the affair before me. Liam took Jean to meet the kids outside of school, and he tried to tell them that she would be their new mom. He asked the kids to tell me they wanted to live with him and Jean. That morning, the kids left a home they thought was happy and safe with a mom and dad. And by the time school was out, Dad showed up with a strange lady and admitted he'd been cheating, even if indirectly, and they were getting a new family. I got a call from the school because the kids were distraught and ran back to their teacher after Liam pulled this stunt. Liam attempted to win sole custody of the kids during our divorce, and he declared his intention for Jean to adopt them. This was not well received by the courts. It led to some parts of our divorce being drawn out because he claimed that it made him eligible for everything accumulated during the marriage, despite my working for everything too. So he's known and has made an idiot of himself in court before. Liam married Jean right after our divorce was finalized. In the time that's followed since the divorce, and even since Liam revealed his affair, there's been a source of added conflict. When we were together, we involved the kids in celebrating and planning each birthday, including ours. It became a sweet little tradition where the kids helped me cook for his birthday, and he brought the kids to pick up my favorite takeout. We helped him shop for the birthday gift as well. He expected this to continue after the divorce, and for Jean to be included. My brother took over helping the kids because they asked him to, but the kids don't do it for him or Jean. Liam claims I should be helping them do it, or I should make my brother help them do it for him and Jean. He claims this is parental alienation, my refusal to continue this tradition for him and Jean, or to get my brother to do it in my place. So he filed a motion with the courts, and we had a court date recently where he spewed all this nonsense. He claimed that we had promised to continue this for each other, how he had held up his end until I refused, etc., and that it was my wish to negatively influence his and Jean's relationship with the kids. I let him do his ranting and raving. Then I showed documented proof that he was lying, text and emails exchanged about this very topic. Jean was also a part of these rantings. They were angry, and so was my former mother-in-law after the judge dismissed the allegations, and both were scolded for foolishness. Former mother-in-law said I could have cut everyone's time down and saved their humiliation by just showing them the darn messages earlier, to quote her. Am I the idiot for letting my ex and his wife make fools out of themselves in court? Not the idiot. I would have thought a judge would have had to listen to the appellant's full claim, and I can't imagine the judge would have looked too kindly on you interrupting. Former mother-in-law could have cut down everybody's time by raising her son to be honest, but hey, nothing can be done about that now. Yeah, in other words, what a laughably stupid, insensitive, entitled pair of cruel fools. I do wonder, though, if your ex wants the kids to help prepare for his and Jean's birthdays, why doesn't Jean help the kids with his, and he helps them with hers? Because expecting you or your brother to do it is just, LOL. He expects it from me and my brother because the kids' relationship with him has suffered since the big reveal, and they don't like Jean at all. So anything they do with them is not as willing, and they don't want to do the celebration. Hence, he tried to rope me in so they would be more willing, which honestly, I don't think they would be. It's almost as if your kids have their own thoughts and feelings. How could he have possibly planned for such an unprecedented thing? Let him bluster from cavernous empty space where his ability to see reality should reside. His absurd and asinine arguments before the court will only further help you and your kids escape that environment. Right? Those poor kids. Hi, kids, this is your new mommy. Have a good day at school. What an idiot. OP, you handled it beautifully. Continue exactly the way you are. Your mother-in-law is only angry at herself because she just realized that her son is a moron and that you will do absolutely nothing to hide that for him. My mom, Kara, 50s, doesn't hold down jobs. thinks she's above working a regular 9 to 5, and is a moocher. She essentially lives wherever she can find people willing to let her live for free, and spends the little she has from doing odd jobs on booze and other things. My dad, they divorced over a decade ago. John finances much of her lifestyle. Kara will beg him for money since he's pretty well off and usually gives it to her for some reason. Recently, John bought her an old RV, and she planned to move into it in her parents' backyard and get paid by the state to take care of them as they weren't well. My wife, Diane, 29, and I, 35 male, live right next door to Kara's parents, my grandparents. When Kara decided to move down here, we made it clear that we wouldn't be taking care of her financially and that she couldn't mooch off of us. I explicitly told her she wasn't using our laundry, shower, bathroom, electricity, address for mail, etc. I told her that if she's moving in with her parents, they're solely responsible for her. I said that because she tends to try to guilt me into helping her and is very manipulative. Kara decided to put the RV in between my shop and her dad's shop. I did make it clear that she can't plug into our shop as we aren't paying for her electricity, and we need a main panel upgrade and don't have the power to run her RV. She was fine with that. Also, her parents have room in their house, but some repairs and things need to be made. Kara refuses to do that for free, even if it would give her a place to live. And recently, the application for her to get paid to be their caretaker got rejected, as she failed the background check. She's slowly running out of money and has tried to mooch off of Diane and me, but we're sticking to our guns, saying no. She has heat. There are multiple food banks around. She has a car, and she can get a job, but she just chooses not to. Diane and I also have an infant son. Diane is breastfeeding and was overproducing a lot for a few months, so she has almost 2,000 ounces of milk in a freezer in our shop. She recently went back to work and is cycling through the stuff in the freezer. Kara texted us this morning saying we should check the power to the shop, as she plugged in for just a minute a few days ago and it shorted out, and she noticed it still isn't working. Today I got home to Diane bawling as she went out to check and found that the power to the shop was out and all 2,000 ounces had defrosted and had to be thrown away. Diane is not overproducing anymore and is devastated. Kara apparently blew the fuse box at my grandpa's house because she turned on the generator while plugged in, so she decided she'd just use ours. To say I'm angry is an understatement. I explicitly told her not to use our power, and for it to waste an insane amount of my wife's time and energy made me furious. I texted Kara, telling her what she did, and Kara texted Diane, saying she could just switch to formula. I told her we needed an apology, and Kara texted back, saying it's not her fault we have crappy power. I am sick of her entitlement, and I know that it's not legal to live in an RV here. I could report her, and they usually give 45 days before the person has to leave. Kara's burnt many bridges and mentioned that her car is the only place she has left to live. I want to report her and get her away from us. Am I the idiot if I report her and make her homeless? My blood pressure just spiked, and I'm so angry for your wife. When I was nursing my first, I pumped one single bottle a day so my spouse could feed the baby at bedtime, and even that was torture for me. I would throw mother-in-law in jail if I pumped that much and it went to waste. Not the idiot at all. OMG, I had the same reaction. It takes so much time and energy to build a milk supply, pump and save. It's theoretically possible to buy breast milk to replace the lost supply, though it wouldn't be the same because it's a stranger. Google says it goes for $3 to $5 an ounce, so anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. This woman stole food out of her grandchild's mouth, and it's going to cost their family thousands to get back to where they were, if that's even an option in their area. I'd be going right to the police, maybe a lawyer, anything and everything to keep her as far away as possible. Suing is nice and all, but you can't get blood from a stone, as they say. Kara is an adult. Just because you're protecting yourself and your family does not make it your responsibility to house her. You're not making her homeless. She's making herself that. How many times are you going to let her hurt your family? Get her kicked out and go no contact. She won't get better. Sorry. Mini update. We made the report and are going to press charges. My mom formula fed me and never tried breastfeeding and was very adamantly trying to get my wife to formula feed when she was pregnant, saying things like, "It doesn't make a difference. OP turned out fine," and "It's a lot more effort to get the same result." She doesn't understand or care at all. I feel horrible. Diane was basically attached to the pumps or our son for 3 months and was excited to have a 2-month supply of milk in the freezer because she could quit breastfeeding at 10 months to make it to a full year. My mother just cost her 2 months of her time. I'll start off by saying that I, 22 male, don't like my food touching. When I have several different foods on my plate, I have them far apart because I can't stand it when one food doesn't taste the way it should. Due to this, I usually only put on my plate what I eat at the moment. For example, if I'm eating a meal that includes chicken and rice, I'll put the chicken on my plate, eat it, then put the rice on my plate and eat it. This usually isn't a problem at all except in restaurants, where I just deal with it and try to push the foods apart as much as possible. My mom never liked this and always scolded me for it, but it wasn't an issue again after I moved out. That was until a few weeks ago, when my girlfriend, 24, got annoyed by it. We were eating dinner, and she complained that I was eating like a toddler. I didn't exactly respond and just went on with my meal. I'm usually the one making dinner, and we don't see each other over lunch. So for the past few weeks, I've been making foods that are just one kind, like spaghetti, foods where you don't have several different subcategories, and it's just one thing, to avoid her getting upset about how I eat again. Now she's caught on to it and is upset at me that I'd rather cook something entirely different than eat like an adult. That kind of hurt me, so I asked her why it's an issue, because it doesn't affect her at all, and it's easier for me to eat this way. Now she keeps making comments about me being a man baby, and I'm considering if maybe I should just be less difficult and pull it together. None of my friends understand this situation, and it's hard for me to eat foods that are touching other foods. So I'm hoping somebody out here could tell me whether I'm actually being unreasonable. Not the idiot. As long as you don't make a fuss out of it when you eat somewhere else. But the way you wrote it, you just deal with it. Why is your girlfriend making such a stink and insulting you? It's not her business to police how you eat. And insulting your partner because you don't agree with how they're eating their food is a huge no-go. I suspect other people have noticed and just said nothing because it doesn't impact them, and they aren't rude. OP, you didn't mention it, but is it possible that you're neurodivergent and have some sensory issues? That's kind of what this sounds like to me. In any case, your girlfriend is kind of an idiot. I don't get the big deal over how someone else eats. It doesn't strike me as a problem. I'm sorry, but you are the idiot. You're not doing anything harmful on purpose. Still, many people find picky eaters annoying to hang out with because they constantly spend extra time and energy finding specific foods they agree to eat, or in your case, separating your foods. Not everyone wants to deal with a boyfriend or girlfriend who acts like that. If you want to stay with her, consider working on that, or she can start accepting you for who you are, or you can break up. I'm 27 female on postpartum leave. We have an infant son. We live right next door to my husband's 28 best friend, 42 male. We moved in here a bit over a month ago. Since moving in, this dude calls my husband multiple times a day to go off somewhere with him, store, another buddy's house, downstairs to smoke, have a fire, etc. It has caused so many fights already, and I'm so over it. I've literally brought it up at least 25 times. And I told him not even a week ago that I'm moving, whether he comes with me or not, because I didn't sign up to play third wheel to a grown man who also has a wife at home with a baby. My husband apologized as usual and actively got better about it. He stopped leaving with him and only hung out with him once a day for maybe a half an hour. And I appreciated that, and all has been good. But on to the issue. He's called off work for the past 2 days because I got sick and needed help taking care of the baby because I'm literally a walking crap show right now. I'm in so much body pain and my head is screaming at me. So he literally called off work, telling his boss I got sick and he needed to help me, and then took off with his buddy not even a half hour later at 12:30 this afternoon. He's been gone since. They were supposedly only going to the store 45 minutes away. It's been 5 hours. When I texted him about it, he only said, "I know, babe, I'm sorry." So I texted back and said, "The heck you are. Stay at your buddy's house tonight. He obviously needs you to hold it for him." He says I'm an idiot because I expected to be home already, but he's taking his sweet time. It's his vehicle. I'm kind of on his schedule. So I texted back, asking where they were. He told me that they stopped off at one of this guy's friends' houses, and apparently he was drinking. Not my husband, supposedly. I have my doubts. I told him that he could end the friendship, or I could file for divorce, because this has been an ongoing, consistent issue, and I'm no longer willing to deal with it. Now he's calling me manipulative and controlling, saying that I'm making him choose between me and his son, or him having any sort of social life, because he says I flip out every time he tries to do anything. I do. He's gone out partying at least 6 times since I gave birth 2 months ago, when, not kidding, he hadn't partied in 4 years before this. Am I the idiot? Edit. I've brought up moving several times because he wasn't like this before we moved into this place, which is owned by the buddy. He will agree to move and start house searching, and then the very next day, he'll be talking about all the repairs he wants to make to this place as a favor to his buddy for helping us out. He is very much a people pleaser, and this guy is 14 years older than him too, so he always uses the excuse, "Well, he's like a big brother to me and gives me a lot of his life skills and knowledge." He has said multiple times that he doesn't want to disappoint him. He knows it's coming at a cost to his family. The only place I can go to is my mother's, and he's made it very clear that if I take our child there, he will take the baby from me. He says it's an unsafe and dirty home because her kitchen is currently in complete repair, bad floor due to underneath water damage, and has no access. My mom washes her dishes in the bathtub while it's being renovated and cooks on the outdoor grill. The renovations have been taking longer than expected due to the recent storms. It took reading until the end to realize that the house is owned by the best friend. Your husband sounds like a people pleaser who's stuck under his friend's thumb. His male ego has him trying to appear manly and cool while his home life falls apart. Quite honestly, the friend owning your residence will eventually turn into a difficult situation. A people pleaser to everyone but his wife and child. OP, show this idiot the door and then slam it in his face. Tell him he can come back home when he's ready to grow up, start taking some responsibility, and get off his buddy's tit. This is worse than weaponized incompetence. It's weaponized passivity. When running an errand with his buddy turned into more than an hour, he should have excused himself and taken an Uber or a taxi home. It's not wrong to make him choose between this useless friend and his family. And it's not controlling or manipulative to insist that he put his family first. Not the idiot. File for divorce, OP. He left you alone while you were sick with a 2-month-old baby. Either he's having an affair with this much older man, or they're getting high together. Whatever he's got going on, you don't need it. Focus on yourself and your baby, and let those two have each other.